This is going to be a short video describing to you how to upload your scores into the Global Dressage Analytics system. So if you just got started with GDA, maybe GDA doesn't know anything about your events yet, and so you end up with this blank page that you don't have any scores yet. So it's a bit disappointing, but it's very easy to resolve. Click on the upload scored links and you get the little window below. It's got your name and no horses show up. So maybe we don't know about your horses. If your horse is in the menu button, then of course you just select it and carry on. But in this particular case, you have to tell us about the horse first. Click on no horses and you move to the create a horse creation form. Fill in the details, so you go from the top left picture to the bottom right hand picture. Put in your horse ID. You can add as many IDs here as you have. If you ride in a national federation and in the FEI, then put both your IDs in there. We don't publish your IDs, but we use them in order to help us assign scores directly to you when we get automatically loaded results from organizers and from federations. You don't really have to put the date of birth in full detail for your horse. You can just put January the 1st if you don't know the details. The year can be useful though afterwards to be sure that one picks up the right horse. If you can't find the father and mother in our system, then you can either leave them blank or you could create them first. It's up to you. Okay, so you end up with the form on the right hand side. You click submit and your horse has been created. Here it is now. You go back to upload scores. It shows your name, it shows the name of your horse, and it shows select competition. If we know about some competitions and there's some selectable in there, that may be the very one that you want to look at, you select it and then you go straight into adding scores. If you need to add a new competition, well then you click on the add competition button. Here's the details. You give the competition a name. You tell us where it took place, which country it's in, what date it took place on. Use the calendar pop-up. That makes sure that we always get dates in the right format. You tell us what test you've done. If it's an FEI test, we already know about it. We already know about some other tests. If it's a test that we don't know about, then let us know and we'll get it into the system for you. Then in the next window you click where the judges were sitting. In this case E, H, C and M. There were 4 judges. So we filled in the judges, we filled in the final scores for each judge. We put the final score, the final rank, the judge scores. And you're ready for the next step, which is to enter all your scores. Here's the score entry form. Looks pretty familiar to you. You've got the details for each figure and you've got a little box in which you type in the scores. Tab to move from one cell to the next one on the right or onto the next row when you reach the end of the row. If you hit enter, you'll move down the row. So it depends on really how the form you have is laid out for which is the easiest one for you to type your scores in with, either going across the form or down the form. It doesn't obviously make any difference. If you completely lose your way, hit the reset score table, start again. Okay, here's the form. Looks as if it's being filled in. We're well on our way. We've entered the scores. Right, now we've reached the end of the form. We've got all the scores in, and don't forget to write something under deductions. We don't accept a blank. You either have to write a 0, or if you made a mistake then you'll put the -2 or whatever was the negative score you got for that. At this point you hit submit scores. Our system will check that all your scores add up to the final scores that we know about. If it turns out that the final score they don't quite add up, you'll be told where they don't add up. You can check to see whether you got it right. Perhaps you've got it right and the organizer got it wrong. But so you have an option of just overriding the final scores that are in the system and writing your scores if you're convinced that you're right. So click submit scores, and now you've got your first scores in the GDA system. As I mentioned, what if you don't find the test that you did in the selection box? Perhaps it's a national test, that we don't know about. We are really anxious to get all your tests in. So send us a copy of the test, or if there's a link that's publicly accessible on your Federation page that links us to that test, send it to us. We'll get that test into the GDA system as quickly as we can, and we'll let you know when it's done. For all type messages like that or any other help, send a message to support@globaldressageanalytics.com. We'll get back to you as fast as we possibly can. I showed you what to do if we didn't know anything about the competition. If we do know about the competition, but for example we only have the final scores and not the figure scores, you'll have a panel that looks a bit like this. It will show the test, it shows the date, it shows the score you got, and it will offer you the choice of uploading the figure scores. If you click that button, you immediately jump to the window below, so all the details have now been filled in for you. Click Next, and you're on the score entry form just as you were before. So here's a summary of everything we've done so far. Uploading scores is not going to be a whole lot of fun. It's always a bit of typing. Tracking them and learning from them will be fun and will improve your results. With our form, it should only take you a few minutes to do this. It's really literally 5 minutes of typing once you got used to it. Type carefully, use decimal points in the half-point scores, not commas. We're working all the time to increase the number of scores that we load automatically for you so that you don't have to do the work. That's part of our process all the time of discussing with scoring companies and federations and organizers. We're also planning tools where your smartphone, from your smartphone, to do this even more easily in the future. But once your scores are uploaded, we make sure they're backed up and they're never lost. One final point: if you really don't want to type in all these things, if you take out a premium plan, then we'll take care of all the score uploads for you. It's entirely up to you. Use the standard plan, type them in. Use the premium plan, we put them in. Either system will work. It just depends really on how many scores you have to put in, which is the most practical for you. Thank you very much.